right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the season opener of Season 6 here at Apollo Racing Club, our GT3 League. It's going to be a big night tonight. My name is Matt McAdams here in the commentary booth. Joining me is going to be Fred Forsberg, one of our other quick boys here at the Apollo Racing Club here. Fred, go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind. Yeah, and you will be missed out on that track. We've got some crazy times getting posted in free practice right now. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I do want to go ahead and thank all of our sponsors here. We do have a few, because Apollo Racing Club is growing. As you guys know, we are a Grid Finder approved league. If you ever are looking for a new league to go out there and drive with, their site's super easy to use. Whole bunch of drop-down menus. You pick your game, the kind of car you want to drive in, your region, and it figures out the rest for you. And it is awesome and really handy. Also, we are on SimGrid now, which is going to be handling all of our organization and being able to keep track of races, people signing up, just makes the whole process way easier than trying to figure it all out on a Discord server. So big thanks to them. And then the big news of the day, we have a new sponsor. You may have heard of them. But I am extremely excited to announce that Apollo Racing Club is now officially sponsored by Driver 61. If you guys don't know who Driver 61 is, they're much better known for their YouTube channel, but as it turns out, they also have a website that's like one of the best places on the internet for learning just about anything motorsport. If you ever watch their YouTube channel, you know they go super in-depth into everything, the physics of how cars work across all different kinds of motorsport. Turns out they also educate everybody, any level of sim racing, beginner, advanced, doesn't matter. They've got multiple tiers of training courses that go through both sim racing and real world motorsports, track maps, circuit guides, literally anything that you could think of to make your racecraft better, you're gonna find it there. And the coolest thing about this, and this matters to you, is I'm also excited to share that Driver 61 is going to be offering us a 25% discount code at their Sim Racing Academy. That means literally all of their training courses, you type that code in, and it is going to give you 25%. I'll put it in chat in just a second, but it's ARC Driver 61. That's the whole thing. It's easy enough to remember, but if you key that in when you're at their site, you'll get 25% off anything in their Sim Racing Academy. And if that's not cool enough, in addition to that discount that we're getting, Driver 61 is also going to be hosting private ARC exclusive racecraft sessions, up to 15 people per lesson. Right now, it's currently slated out that our F1 novices in a few weeks are going to get to go through that. But they'll be offering it for the different games, so F1, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and iRacing in due time. So if you want more information on that, join our Discord server. It's all posted in the announcements there. But yeah, again, huge, massive thank you to the folks over at Driver 61 for sponsoring Apollo Racing Club, because it's going to be awesome for everybody. We all get to get fast together. And it's just going to be good for us all. So let's go ahead and head on over to our racetrack. Ooh, and I've got some things open, apparently. Let's clean that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. Anyways, so we are at Silverstone today, as previously mentioned. Let's go ahead and hop on the cameras here with somebody who's left the pits. There we go. Who's number 64? That's going to be Thornton out in the Team Thornton Racing Ferrari. And then actually real quick before, because they've got a long time to go before they're on a crazy hot lap here. We also, eventually, again, we'll have this a little bit better organized for next time, but we also have our spotter's guide for all of the cars, because we do support custom liveries here at Apollo Racing Club. So I'll go ahead and flash them up real quick while we're watching Thornton begin his hot lap. But we've got all of our skins here that we'll be peeking at from time to time. And again, I'll organize it a little bit better. But these are going to be all of our liveries. As you can see, our drivers put a lot of work into these, and they're super awesome. And I'm really looking forward to getting to see them out on the track today. But we'll just kind of click through these one at a time real quick here. And let's let's get that last one up there, and there's the last of them with one of our league admins, Joshua Kimball there in the ARC Rexes. We'll be seeing a lot of these cars today here at Silverstone. Big track, the first race of the season. There's a lot to look forward to here. Fred, I know you were just hopping in here at the last minute, but based on what you were seeing during practice, what are you hoping to see during the race today?
So, having practiced for the race with a bunch of the drivers here, I'm hoping to see that they clean up some of their Maggots and Beckets, because at the final part of Maggots and Beckets, I see a lot of people get the rear end loose, and getting the rear end loose in a high-speed part of the track when there's other cars around, it's probably going to lead to collisions, sadly. Therefore, I hope that people are figured out with their setups or anything in that sort, just to get more control over the rear end of the car so we don't have collisions there, because of course no one wants to have the car damaged at the start of the race. Other than that, I think that having the outside line going into T1 in this race is going to be better, just because of how lenient the track limits are on the first lap of the race. So if I were to start on the left side of the track whenever the race starts, I'd be happy myself.
Right.
I also expect that the British cars, mostly the McLaren, is going to be extremely fast around here, because it has a very favorable BOP, and its aero style suits the track much better, for an example, than the Porsche or the Ferrari, because the McLaren is basically as fast as possible when you're able to throw it into corners while trail braking, because it's such an aero heavy car, and this track is mostly a bunch of fast speed corners, and therefore the McLaren works incredibly well on here.
Yep, and that will be seen here shortly. We've got our first qualifying times coming across the line right now. Let me take a look up here. So in first place right now, we have Michael LeBron setting a 2-minute .9, followed by Common Cold now sitting in second place with a 2:01.1. Alan Zoe with the next one of 2:01.3, followed by Dave Grills in 2:01.7. And that is going to be, let's see, we got Joshua Kimball just coming across the line right there with a 2:03.1, and just in front of him, Pop Dog with a 2:02.5. Let's take a look here. Still got some people. I don't know if there's something going on with the entry list, but it looks like everybody's an amateur. Usually they do the split qualifying where the amateurs come out first and get their times, and then the pros will come out after that. And based on who's in the pits, I think that's what's going on here, but I'm not entirely certain. But we've got a little bit of a train forming back towards the midpoint of the track there behind Cody Barrett. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on over here. It looked a little more condensed on the map than it was, but coming down into that chicane, getting ready to take the final straight of the track in that absolute racing Porsche.
Yeah, what happened there was that Cody caught up to the Ferrari behind him, and I guess the Ferrari made a mistake or something like that, but was able to get past cleanly. Usually during qualifying, it's extremely hard to get by people, especially if there's a big speed difference. So it was a good job by Cody to get past there.
Yeah, definitely not somewhere where you want to be taking a ton of risks, because really a lot of your race is dependent on these 20 minutes.
Oh yeah. A good thing for Silverstone is that it actually has a few good overtaking positions, but the only way that you can really get overtaken here is to set up the exits before the straight lines before the overtaking places, because and Magus Abecus is a really good example of this. When you I'm watching Barrett right now, and he is sort of getting it right, because you want to sacrifice the entry to the final right-hander to then open up the corner more and be on throttle early. That's the only way you're going to be able to overtake someone down this straight, because the exit is everything. So good racecraft is still needed to get by people. So it's not like, for an example, the Camel Straight on Spa, where you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you're in the tow.
Absolutely, yeah, and racecraft is going to be key. We got 24 cars Oh, no, excuse me. That's just where that leaderboard cuts off. Let's add a couple to that. 32 cars on the track. Silverstone is a notoriously long track, but with that many cars on the track today, there's not going to be a ton of opportunities where people are racing in clean air. At least that's going to be my estimate. By about halfway through the race, it's going to be a pretty loaded field. So yeah, Racecraft is going to be on top of it, not just for our slower amateur drivers, but also the pros who are going to be in charge of navigating between all of them come time they catch up. With an hour here at Silverstone, it certainly could happen. Let's take a look at right now what our times are looking like. Gordon is hanging on to his first place. He seems to have improved his time by just shy of a second now, posting a 1:59.2, followed by ooh, that's a fun name. The number 81 car that did a 1:59.9. So still looking at those sub 2-minute times, definitely going to be feeling good for these amateur drivers. Oh, and we watched Gordon loses it. Just kisses the sausage curb there with his back tire, and that is going to be the end of his lap 1.
Oh yeah, that is a big issue with the mid-engine cars. You don't have enough ride height on the front, so whenever you hit the inside curb going into cops, you have a big chance of spinning around. I've done it numerous times with pretty much all of the mid-engine cars in practice. So having a good setup with a bit of ride height in the front will help, but it's definitely not going to save you. The Bentley is just amazing going through T1 because you can just chug it onto the apex and eat the entire curve and you won't even notice it.
Speaking of Bentley, we're watching Common Cold coming across the start-finish line right now. Does not post an improvement to his time, but he is driving the same Bentley that we were just talking about, affectionately known as the Boatley, because as Fred was saying, you really can just kind of throw it at whatever you want, and it's going to go over it as if it's a GT4 car.
Yeah, I think the Bentley together with the Merc or the Mercedes are the best curve-taking cars in the game. But Bentley is just in a different league. The only thing that is bad with the car, if you're from a part of the world where you don't drive on the right-hand side, is that it's right-hand driven. So it screws your brain a bit if you jump between cars, between races. But it's such a good car. I'd say that it's probably the best car out there for newer drivers because it's fast pretty much everywhere. Can take whatever curves you want to. It has good fuel mileage and it's an incredibly stable platform. So yeah, it's just a good car.
So that, I think, are the pros going to start making their way out onto the track? What is going on right now?
Yep, they should be starting to make it out on the track.
Yeah, okay, so people are teleporting back into the pit, so that's going to mean that the amateur portion of this is over. Let's see. Oh, we've already got pros out on the track, actually led by Andrew Warden. No surprise in the Hungry Hippos Porsche right now, coming around about halfway through the track. We'll see a lap time out of him in a little bit. Still has to get the tire. Well, actually, I'm in GT4 brain where I'm thinking I still have to get my tires up to pressure, but
oh yeah, we have tire blankets there.
Yep. So he's going to come out and get the cold lap out of the way, and then we'll have an idea of what the lap times are going to look like out of our pro drivers. And he is being chased down by, who is that behind him? Tommy Kogan. Oh, I just realized I've got the name badges on this whole time. Let's get those out of the way.
It is, Tommy Kogan, Andrew Warden, Craig Bray, and Niall Drake are all in the same team. They're all driving Porsches. They're all in the Hungry Hippos. I'm expecting Warden to do well because he always does. He is usually in a league of his own, but we never know. The Porsche can be incredibly unstable going out of Maggots and Beckett's just because of how the aero type is on the car. But he'll probably figure that out with a good setup. But let's go. I'm gonna follow Warden's lap and see where we end up.
Yeah, we'll know the next lap. So now he's out on his hot lap. So this is going to be the one that is for keeps here. And as you were saying, yeah, Andrew Warden, not just a fast one, but a quick or a consistent one as well. He definitely has earned his title as an alien among some of the other drivers. But it is going to be interesting to see how his teammates react to that, because as we've seen in the last season, Tommy Kogan is picking up a lot of pace. And he is just starting to nip at the heels of his teammate Andrew Warden. So it'll be exciting to see how quality goes in practice. He wasn't that far off. And depending on what setup they were running during practice, if Warden was sandbagging or if Tommy was sandbagging, We could see something very interesting happen here once they both finish putting in their first lap of qualifying.
I sadly don't know which side you start on if you get pole, but I'm expecting that you get the inside line going into cops, which can be scary, especially on the exit of the corner when you have to wash out a bit when you have a car on the outside. So I'd actually say that you are probably favorable if you're on the outside, as I mentioned before.
Yeah,
But
I think you're right.
looking at Warden's lap, he is hitting good lines, but they are not optimal. He's hitting some sausage curbs, and he's not really getting on the curb that you want to on the inside. I'd perhaps just set up the car so you don't really want to run much curbs, but I've found that the fastest way to do this track is to, especially in the early sector 2, to eat those curbs in the beginning of the slow speed corners so you can open up the corners more. But that's just what I've found, and I feel that's a compromised final turn line as well for the hairpin. But let's see what time
does kind of look like it. Oh, he may have just been slightly wide there. We'll see when he comes across the start-finish line. Actually, I think, come on, is it a valid time? He manages to sneak it in, and he posts a 157.8 with his teammate Tommy Kogan a second behind him.
Yep, that is to be expected though. Warden is usually head and heels above everyone else, and but at the same time, his Porsche does not look super compliant over the curbs. Perhaps it's a bit too stiff, but I'm not sure. But he's still doing it. Oh, we have a Aston on P2.
Yes, we do. That is going to be
a name
Aston
that I do not
I
recognize.
don't recognize it either. That is going to be, I think that's Michael. Is it Wojcik?
Yeah, it must be Wojcik.
I think it's Wojcik. Yeah. So yeah, all right. So we've got a newcomer driving the Aston here. Oh, just watched him go a little bit off the track there, but posting a fantastic time. That's going to be a 158.4. Still got a little bit of time to make if he's going to catch our current pole sitter right now, Andrew Warden. But we'll see what he's able to pull off here. Looking around the rest of the field, though, Tommy Kogan on quite the lap right now. Currently 7/10 down on his previous lap, which will net him second place if he's able to keep on it. And right now coming into the hard braking zone, coming into the chicane here. And I can't help but notice that Porsche does look slightly more composed, and he's getting a bit closer to those apexes. Maybe he's just got a little bit more forgiving of a setup, and he's able to really push the track limits there, but it doesn't look unstable at all.
No, the front end looks very compliant. Although it looked like he got a tiny bit of oversteer on the corner exit, but it looks like the front is more bites, and probably also running less wing on this setup. Don't know which setup he's using because I spoke to him yesterday and I gave him some setups that I made for some of the Porsche drivers, so I have no clue if he's using one of my setups or not. But it looks a bit more compliant on the slow speed, but then the trade-off probably will be that it's a bit slower in the high speed since it's running lesser.
Sorry to cut you off there, but we just had two people come across the line. So Tommy Kogan does hang on to that 7/10 lead and posts a 158.1, but Daniel Wright out of nowhere comes in just a 10th faster to cinch up second place from him with a 158.0. And just like that, we've got some battling to do here, folks, with the top three all within 0.3 of one another. It is going to be very interesting to see if any of them are able to post an improvement. Daniel Warden did go back into the pits and is maybe just making some slight changes to the setup to try and eke out just a little bit more time to be a little bit safer in first place with just less than 0.2 between him and second place. He's got to be sweating a little bit.
Yeah, and that's just the McLaren coming into its own. It's, as mentioned before, it is such an impressive car on this track. Having had the fortune to race some really fast people, such as, for an example, James Baldwin or Malinowski, or more as is known, Tortellini. Seeing the McLaren in action with the best people in the world, it's just such a beauty on this track. The amount of entry speed you can have with this car actually rivals the Porsche. Although the Porsche is known for its mid-corner speed, the McLaren is actually quite a bit faster around here, just because of how aero dependent and how hard you can work the aero on the car because of all of the high-speed corners.
Right.
So I'd actually expect the McLaren to be a better race car than the Porsche, because the Porsche also changes a lot depending on how much fuel you put into it.
That is very
Since
true.
the fuel tank is in the front of the car.
Because for some reason they figured that the rear axle is where the engine belonged, but it does seem to work out for those who are really quick in that car. We're watching right now Roadside Cookie in the the Cookie GT Racing Lamborghini. That's another car that has a penchant for wanting to kill drivers. Depending on the setup, can be very, very twitchy, but as we're seeing right now, can also be very fast right now. Roadside Cookie 2/10 up on his previous best lap of a 158.8. Within a second of our qualifying leader right now, Andrew Warden. We saw some very, very good times out of Roadside Cookie in practice, so it's really going to come down to whether or not he's able to hang on to the slight lead that he has on his best time, which would be enough right now for him to get another position up on the grid. And as we were talking about earlier, that can be very, very important depending on what side you're on in turn one. Ooh, gets a little bit inside there and bounces the back of the car up, but manages to hang on to it. Does look like he lost that lead that he had. Doesn't put him in the red, but he's gonna have to push extra hard if he's able to hang on to it. But unfortunately, with only 2 turns left, we are not gonna see an improvement on this lap. However, he has time to get back out there. So I think he's gonna put it back into the pits and make whatever changes he needs to, and then try and get one more in.
It's only 1 minute left, and the out lap is over 2 minutes. I think that's
true.
his final.
Yeah.
That's his final. It's his final time, and I don't think Hogan is going to set another time as well. So it's basically between Warden and Wright now. So let's see how that battle goes.
Yeah, and right now, neither one of them neither one of them has a delta improvement on their lap at the moment. It looks like they're more or less tracking with their previous map. Right now, we're watching Daniel Wright. He will set the lap time before Warden does, but as soon as we see Daniel Wright get across the line, we will hop over to Andrew Warden to see what our pole leader is going to do.
Warden is not going to have another lap after that. This is too far back on the track. This is going to be his final one. So if it's not improving, his fastest time is going to be a 57.8. It was right.
That's correct.
Yeah,
all right.
That
Daniel
is
Wright
a
come across
very
the
reasonable
finish line.
Oh, he's out of fuel. Oh, did he finish?
No, he finished. Did not post an improvement to the time, however, so he puts it off the track just to get out of the way, and now we're going to watch Andrew Warden now with just 1 turn left on the track. Currently no improvement on the delta, but I don't think he needs it because the only people who had a chance at grasping that away from him have finished and were not able to beat him, so he's going to cross the line and post this almost the same time. Wow, that was really close. But nonetheless, that is going to be qualifying here. So in just a second, we'll be looking at the start-finish grid with everybody where they belong. And we'll see. I'm curious to see what side first place is on. I think they have the outside. I think they have the outside.
I think they have the inside, but we'll see. If as I said, I'd preferably be on the outside here because you can be a bit cheeky with the track limits on lap 1 and run wide to carry more speed through T1. And yeah, P2 gets the outside. This is gonna be very interesting going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex, especially when the first turn is a left-hander. If you get your nose ahead there, the second car usually have to back out so you don't swipe the rear wheels of the car on the right side, on the left side. Sorry.
All right, folks, we're gonna go for a little walk down the starting grid. I did this for Imola and I really liked it, so we're gonna do it again here. But just taking a look at all the work that our drivers have put into these car liveries. Again, most of these are done by hand in Photoshop. So each of these drivers really putting in the extra effort, not just to show up and drive well, but to look stylish as well. And there really are some banger skins out here today. 2 minutes until the race starts. Right now, drivers are getting their final opportunity to try and make any setup changes that they think they need to make after qualifying. Make sure they've got the right amount of fuel in the car. Make sure that they've got fresh tires, their tire pressures are ready. There really is a lot to do in 2 minutes until the race starts here.
I'd say that's a big, not really a surprise, but a good showing from Thornton here, getting P10 from the AM class, beating out a bunch of the pros, actually. So that's really good job on him.
Absolutely. And that is saying something. Now, we have seen Thornton pull off some magic before. I'm thinking Suzuka of the very beginning of last season, where I believe he finished 4th is where he ended up finishing. So
Me and him have put about, I think it was 8 or 9 hours into one single practice session once. So yeah, he did a really good job for Suzuka, and he has the drive once he has the time to do it. He's
yep.
been practicing quite a bit for Silverstone, but I don't think he's really gotten the hold of the Ferrari yet. The Ferrari is a very strange steering where you really feel where the grip is, but the thing is, if the setup's wrong, you don't get that feel in the wheel, and you'll just under and oversteer in every corner. But hopefully, it's gotten that down. That's coming from me. I've been driving the Ferrari now for 2 seasons in some German leagues and the previous season in this league, and it's an extremely fast and nice car to drive, but it is very setup dependent.
Very true. And actually, I don't know if you're checking Twitch chat, but you did get a shout out just a little bit ago. Not from Thornton, but actually from Common Cold. Shout out to Coach Fred for sitting with me for hours when he has better things to do, helping me find pace. So yeah, no, Coach Fred.
Nah, I don't have better things to do. I just enjoy helping people out. One thing I noticed now, going from quality race pace, is that Andrew Wharton's car looks like it has more aggressive brake, and
Yes, it
therefore I
does.
think is running more wing on top of that, just to get the initial turn and corner stability. So that's going to be interesting to see how it goes. The
Absolutely.
McLaren looks as planted as usual, but it looks like he has a high front end, which means
Yeah,
he's going to be able to take curbs better.
I noticed that.
So, who do you think will win the race?
You know, it's. I mean, we were just talking about, Tommy Kogan and Andrew Warden. Tommy's really been putting in the work to get quicker and start getting closer to his teammate, who usually takes first place. But Daniel Wright has been making consistently strong showings in both the last races of the previous season, but also in our GT4 league. It's no surprise to anybody who's been watching us for any appreciable amount of time. Daniel Wright is a quick driver. But with the extra help that the Aero gains from the McLaren, that might be just enough of an edge over that Porsche where we may see him take position 1 away from Andrew Wharton.
I think it's going to be down to the start. If Wright gets a good run on him and also is a bit cheeky with the track limits going into turn 1, I think he might have the edge. But although I think since the McLaren is such an aero-dependent car, it might struggle a bit getting past the Porsche, although the Porsche has a limited top speed compared to the other GT3 cars. I think that it's going to be tough overtaking with the McLaren because you have to run so much wing with it on this track.
Right.
You don't really have that straight line speed.
Yep, and Andrew Wharton is seasoned enough to know that that's going to be the case, so we can be expecting him to really be focusing on those exits to make sure that he doesn't let that happen to him.
Yeah, also I want to give a shout out to car number 15, A. Mellis, because that's a name I haven't seen before. And that's a really good qualifying, getting 4th on your first race in the league. So a big shout out to him and good job on that. Also, we have a Nissan in the top 6 with Melon Pitch in 6th place. And that car is usually really stable in the races. So he will be able to capitalize off of mistakes that people do. Because that car is super compliant. You can pretty much throw it at anything and it'll just do it with a bit of understeer.
Yeah, with a bit of understeer. That was the car
needs
that
to
I
be
started
noted
with in this game, and it was handy because it basically never tried to hurt me. And then I switched to mid-engine cars, and then it all changed.
Yeah. Oh wait, something's happened. Thornton is standing still.
Uh-oh.
A bit confused here what that strat was, but sure.
Maybe just, weird strategy for warming up the brakes. Or really testing that teleport timer.
Oh yeah. Perhaps he's psyching the guys behind him out by stopping. I don't know. I did a endurance race with Thornton not too long ago, the 4-hour of the ONID League on Brands Hatch. And we had a pretty good showing there. And his outlap was very interesting by really psyching people out. So perhaps it's some it's like some games just to throw people off here. But we'll see.
We'll see.
The lineup should start any second now.
Yep, at this point they're probably being prompted to line up in double file, so this is a rolling start here. So basically, Warden gets to set the pace here. He's got to keep it under a certain speed, but as soon as we see green lights, this race is going to be on.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
it
turn
really
one is going to be so interesting.
Turn one is going to be so interesting. A, because it's turn one in a race, and anything can happen. But also, it could be race deciding for Daniel Wright or Andrew Wharton, depending on how well Daniel Wright is able to get around that corner on the outside.
Also, we need to remember that if the tires are not up to pressure, you might get a lot of understeer going into T1, and therefore you can wash out and perhaps even hit the outside car. We saw what happened for Lewis Hamilton in the British GP when he touched the right wheel of Max Verstappen going into Copse, and that is something that can very much happen here as well.
Green light.
All right,
there we go.
There is the green light, so we are going to begin our charge down to the turn one. Copse here. It does not look like the McLaren was able to get on the outside and really push to get around the Porsche, so that is going to be Andrew Wharton 1, Daniel Wright 2, Tommy Cogan 3 around turn one, coming into Maggots and Beckett's. We'll see if anything happens here. All of these drivers are going to know how to take this perfectly fine, and just like that, sure, they're feeding those cars through exactly how we'd want to see it. And this race is off.
Looks like it's clean thus far. Let's see the exit of Maggots and Beckett's.
And look at that shot.
It
All
looks
30
good.
cars pushing as hard as they can. So far, no yellow flags, no major collisions. You love to see when the drivers keep it clean as they charge down the straight, coming hard into the brakes right there. Daniel Wright going to feed that McLaren around. Oop.
Cookie is have not gotten his tires up to pressure. I can see him struggling quite a bit here. Perhaps he gets them up now.
Right in the middle of the pack, too. Not somewhere you want to be when your car is giving you a little bit of attitude. There's a bit of contact there. Oh, and there's a spin there. The McLaren gets the worst end of that. A little bit of a tap there. Kicks that McLaren around. Roadside Cookie able to negotiate his way around that. But an unfortunate lap one for that McLaren.
There's so many Porsches on the grid. It's going to be very interesting when we go into some other tracks where the stability of the Porsche, for an example, Pylon is going to be really great to see all the Porsche in the corners.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's such a Porsche stacked rig, but that's good. Porsche is a good hard car to drive, so only the best people are able to drive the car consistently. See here, top three looks the same. There's Warden has gotten a pretty sizable gap going into lap one. Top three, they all have the same gap. I can see now.
Yep.
So I think this is just tire management and fuel economy, if we can call it that, for Warden. Extending the stint for as long as possible is always the best option in these cars, because you want to spend as little time as possible on cold tires. So therefore, if you can run for the full 40 minutes before the pit window closes, that is the fastest strat if you're able to do that. But since we have a skill difference in the league, if you run into traffic, you can start losing a bunch of time if you're not getting past them fast. So I got caught out by that in the Brands Hatch race of last season, where I was in the lead, but I got stuck behind back markers for too long, so I finished the race.
All right, you're going to want to get over. You need to watch this battle for 10th place. It is getting really, really exciting here. We've got two Porsches right now that just finished drag racing down the that back straight there. It's going to be between Niall Drake and another name that I'm not familiar with, Leon Key. Niall Drake, notorious for driving with an Xbox controller. And he's still faster than me, and it makes me furious. But right now we're watching these two Porsches battle it out. And this is going to be especially interesting because these two cars, aside from setup, are nearly identical. And so it really is going to come down to a battle of drivers here. Right now, Liang Hui managing to pull a little bit of a gap to Niall Drake behind, which seems to have loosened up the battle. But just one position ahead, we also have a battle for 8th place between two McLarens of Matty Byrne and Don Fox there. This is actually really interesting. Ooh, and I see a yellow flag, the number 5 car of Roadside Cookie facing the wrong way around the track. Oh, and somebody not able to slow the car down in time to not cause another collision there. Looks like we just missed whatever it was that caused that whole thing to happen, but Roadside Cookie making his way back out on the track, hopefully with no major damage, but falling back into 26th place.
Let's see here what happened. Going into Abbey, looks fine. Going into the heavy braking zone, he dives. That's a very bad move. Yeah, that's a very bad move. He was not alongside him and basically tried to do a dive bomb on a guy.
That is one of the risks you take when you try to do that, especially at that corner of all of them. Is really tough to try and do that cleanly. And we got another car off the track. Looks like Thornton ran a little wide going through cops and just decided to use the runoff and get back on the track when it was safe to do so. Good judgment call from Thornton there, but back out on the track with that Ferrari. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that this race. Cops is very easy to take just a little too much speed through, and there's nothing you can do once you're already committed to it to try and keep yourself on the track. So if we're going to be seeing yellow flags, probably going to be there more than anywhere else. But that is going to be Thornton down from 7th, or down in 14th from 7th, so has some work to do to try and get those positions back. But we're going to hop over and watch Alessio Melise here, one of the newcomers we didn't recognize. I think you said qualified in 5th, hanging on to that position right now, but with a Nissan of Mellon Pitch chasing him down. Less than a second between these two cars, just shy of half a second. It's going to be interesting to see how these two cars handle it, because they really could not be more opposite.
Yeah, one is very aero dependent and the other one just lives for mechanical grip. I think Mel is qualified 4th, but dropping 1 position is not too bad at the stage of this race, because it's still a long way to go and a lot of things can still happen. Going to the absolute back of the field, I saw there was really close in between Josh Kimball and the 108 Bentley.
Yeah.
Where Kimball, it looks like he's gotten pulse now.
Let's hop over there. Oh, cameraman's going to take a second to figure it out. There we go. Yeah, it does look like Joshua Kimball got around that Bentley.
Over. It's really close between the McLaren that was part of an incident, the 81 car. I think it's Robinson and Barrett. They all have a pretty good battle going on, just one car up ahead as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Oh, yeah, we do have a bit of a train, but yeah, the front of that McLaren has seen better days. It looks like that must have been a pretty major hit, whatever happened there, because the hood's pushed up, which is not going to be helping him at all. That car we talked about, it really needs that help from the aero package, and that basically means they've got no extra weight on the front. So those front tires are going to be screaming, and he's going to put it into the pits to go get that taken care of right away, because that could not have been helping his lap time.
I wouldn't have done it yet, because he's going to have to pit again, because it's not within the pit window.
That is true, but depending on how big that damage was affecting his lap time, it may have just been the best call to get it out of the way. But you are right, that does mean for sure they will be serving at least 2 pit stops, which is a massive disadvantage here at Silverstone.
Oh yeah, it's a big part of the lap that just gets cut away from you, or added to your lap times. Oh, Cookie overshooting. Yeah, he's overdriving the car now. He needs to calm down.
Looking up the field, just a couple of cars. Adam Thompson, actually, usually joining me here in the commentary booth right now, is actually out on the field driving right now in 21st position in the number 500 Ferrari, and he is currently battling one of his friends, Alan Zhu, in the Porsche just in front of him, trying to get that position away from him and secure a top 20 finish. But there is a lot going on here. That battle for 20th is right now involving 5 cars, if you include that McLaren there in the back. And most of them more or less putting in about the same lap times every time going around. So this might go on for a little while. Looks like Adam looks on the outside, maybe get a weird cutover, but it looks like he just may have missed the braking zone, because that number 69 McLaren is able to cinch up on him and might be able to get the cut back here going down. Oh, it's going to be close. We'll see which one of them is able to get the better run down the straight, but I think that Adam is just far enough ahead. No. Look at how much closer that McLaren is getting. It's going to be right on his tail now. And it is going to be a drag race down the top, and McLaren's going to look on the outside. Got enough of a draft from him to be able to rush down. He's going to have the inside line going hard into the brakes, which is exactly where he wants to be, and he is going to make that pass happen to make Adam is now in 22nd, the McLaren now 21.
Very beautiful move.
That is one pass.
That is one of the overtaking spots. He did it textbook style, getting up close to the rear of the car to get the best draft possible, and turning out towards the end of the straight, where Adam can't do it. What's going on here?
Ooh, got the number 16 car there. Almost causes a little bit of an accident. Getting back across the track, not sure why they did that, but it looks like most of our drivers are able to avoid it somewhat safely. Doesn't look to have interrupted any battles, but I do want to look up the field to the number 709 car of Craig Bray, because he's got a McLaren that's trying to chase him down too. It really is a battle of the Porsches and the McLarens today. I love it. And there's a car off in the background there.
I think that was the McLaren, the 81 car.
Number 81 car, that is going to be Looking on the
lost
leaderboard.
place. Think I recognize the livery.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome battle going on between Common Cold and Thornton Thomas at the moment. Not a lot is between them. Cold is defending for his life, but it looks like the Ferrari is a bit more pace going through the high-speed corners, which is to be expected since it's a better aero car. But it's close. It was extremely close going through this section. Oh no, you don't want to send it on the
don't want to be
inside
right there.
Yeah, that's not. I would never want to send it there.
Making me nervous, Thornton. But it does make the pass happen. I don't know if was there contact between him and the Bentley just couldn't rotate, or what happened there. But that is going to be a position gained for Thornton Thomas in that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think the Bentley had too much speed going into the corner. He took a bad line to defend and had too much speed going into it, and therefore couldn't get the front to bite, and therefore washed out wide onto the grass.
Well, it's some good passing behavior from Thornton then, trying to make the mistake happen rather than waiting for it. But it is going to work for him. He is going to come around the first corner of Cops before that Bentley.
It's close between Fox and Byrne now. Really close going into the second part of Maggots and Beckett's. It's barely a car width going onto the back straight here, or a straight, where one of the final overtaking spots are. The
What
yellow.
position are they in?
6th and 7th.
Thank you.
Let's see. Does he go for it? It doesn't go for it, but it's still not over. It's still overtaking spot here going into the Vale chicane. Does he? No, he doesn't have. He didn't get the exit for it. He's also gonna go a bit almost contact between Byrne and Fox. Almost. But it looks like Fox has good pace. He's probably gonna catch back up, and that battle's gonna go on for at least until the pit stop starts.
And a drive-through penalty being handed out to the number 978 car for abusing track limits a couple too many times.
That's quick. 12 minutes into the race. That's
that is
not a good sign. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that is gonna be the car of Joshua Kimball in the Lexus we were watching earlier. Is gonna pick up a costly drive-through penalty. Silverstone can be tricky with track limits depending on how your first couple of laps went, but that is going to be an unfortunate penalty to pick up this early.
Yep. Yeah. 4 track limit warnings in 12 minutes is not a good sign. Hopefully he can keep it within the track limits for the rest of the race.
We're going to take a look as a couple of cars back. The battle for 8th place has not stopped since we started looking at it earlier. The same couple of cars are looking at each other, and it looks to be a train of 3 Porsches right now currently battling for 8th place. Doesn't look like any of them really have an advantage over one another. But it's going to be interesting to see what drivers try to make moves, or what their strategy is going to be to try and make this pass happen. We're going to see the pit window open up here in just about 7 minutes, and then we might see some pit strategy play into this. But right now, there's just a couple of battles that I really don't want to look away from, so we're going to keep clicking back and forth between them. So we're going to hop back over to the battle for 6th between Matty Byrne and Don Fox here in the McLarens as they are charging down the hangar straight.
Yeah, let's see if he gets... I don't think it's going to be close enough. No, it's not going to be close enough. Byrne does a good job of positioning the car exactly where you want to, and also getting a good exit. That is really important. Going into the Vale chicane and see what happens. That looks good thus far. Byrne is doing a good job of keeping him behind, but whilst that has happened, pitches up to 5th. Because I think that the Aston of...
where did that Aston
Wojcik,
go?
He's 26th now. So I think a mistake has been made somewhere along the line. I can check it out on the replays and see if I can find what happened.
I'm looking around the field. So the number 81 car. Oh, that was the one. Right? No, that's not the one.
I'm gonna.
25th. I see it. Okay, excuse me. No, I saw somebody had retired, and I got the names confused. So excuse me. Anyway, so back over with Matty Byrne right now, coming into the last couple of corners here, and he is keeping Don Fox right behind him, doing some excellent defensive driving, compromising slightly on the line just so that the other McLaren doesn't have room to get around anywhere. It's got to be frustrating for Don Fox, as we can see, basically locked onto that rear bumper. I mean, if he could get around him, he probably does have the pace to go much faster each lap, but Matty Byrne doing an excellent job of preventing him from having the opportunity to do that as he breaks real late into Copse and almost collects himself on the back of Matty Byrne. But Matty Byrne defends another turn.
Yeah, I think it's a pace difference here. But it's annoying, not get me wrong. As I said before, the really aero-dependent car of the McLaren can have a tough time getting past because it does not really have the top line speed of, for an example, the Ferraris or the Nissans. But now he's really close. Really close.
Definitely going to be getting the draft advantage down the hangar straight here. We'll see if it's enough by... Does not look like it's going to be enough by the end there.
Yeah, the Byrne car, the 333 car, looks really slippery down the straights. He must be running much less wing than what Don Fox is doing at the moment. Probably a good technical decision just to not get overtaken. If you're slow through the corners, but the other people don't have the top speed on the straights, you can't overtake unless Burns makes a mistake.
That's one of my favorite things about driving the BMW in the GT4 League is it's just untouchable in the straight. So even though you're slower almost everywhere else, nobody can get around you. And
something that I noticed when I was behind you driving the when I was driving the Alpine. But I noticed after the race that apparently I had a flappy, what's it called, flappy hood. So I was probably losing a bunch of speed on the straights on top of your car just being severe. Oh, here we go. Common Cold going in on, I think it's... Who is this? I think it's Key.
Yeah, it is. That is going to be Lian Key in the other Porsche. And he's, Common Cold in a fantastic spot to come around this corner, but he's going to get cut off. Excellent decision there by the Porsche out in front to do that. Put his car right where he knew the other one was going to be. A little bit of a block, but the Bentley has the draft coming down the straight. Might be able to make that same move on the inside we saw work earlier for the McLaren, and it does. Let's see if he's able to hang on to it. There's still a lot of time to happen. And there's contact from the Porsche. Forgets there's another car there and bumps into the Bentley and is going to hang on to that position. Common Cold cannot be happy about that and is going to want to see that position back here in a couple of laps.
Yeah, and Craig Bray is also catching up to these two cars, so he's going to get involved into this battle. So it's a three-way battle going into there. At the same time as Thornton is probably going to be able to run away and start to go after Marquez now.
A little bit.
Ben. Okay, it's really close here. I think Bray had to back off a bit, but the Bentley's just so compliant on taking all the curbs.
Does look like the Porsche gets out a little bit faster. We'll see how that looks coming down the hangar straight. Yeah, the Bentley does look close enough. He might be getting a little bit of a draft. He's looking on the outside there. Might try something. I think he's gonna maybe go for the late break on the outside. No, he's gonna switch back over onto the inside. The camera needs to change. There we go. The Bentley has got the inside line. Is he gonna be able to hang on to it coming around the corner? Oh, he's in a perfect spot. The Porsche is going to have to go off the track to be able to even get around the corner, and the Bentley is now going to have the outside line going into the Vale chicane. Does he have a faster outside line? It looks like he's going to, but it's not over yet because the Porsche still has time to get the cutback coming around the old start-finish straight. But I think that's going to be a successful pass out of Common Cold for 11th place and eloquently done the entire way, but the Porsche of Craig Bray now wants the position away from the Yankee. It's just not stopping yet. The Bentley pulling away a little bit, but those two Porsches now battling it out for 12th place. Craig Bray looking on the inside there, not quite close enough to make anything happen, but we've seen passes here happen a couple times this race. He tries to squeeze himself on the inside. Now they're going to almost make contact between these two cars, and it is going to be a drag race down this with Craig Bray having the inside line. The outside line's a little bit faster for the top speed here, but he is going to have the easier line coming hard into the brakes for this corner. Are we going to see the same driver get passed the same way twice here? As Craig Bray does have the inside line, but loses enough speed. Is he going to be able to get out in front before the final turn? Oh, he's right there. The other Porsche is not able to squeeze him out of the way, and he's going to get passed by Craig Bray there on the outside there. 2 laps back-to-back. Excellent driving from all 3 of these drivers. And we're not even to the 40-minute mark, folks.
That was a really good battle. I really enjoyed that. So, tough lap for Key there. He just needs to get back into the swing of things and hopefully catch back up. But at the same time, it looks like Yang and Alexandre Alfonso is catching up to the Key car now. Oh, there's a battle between the number 536 Merc and Cookie. They're side to side going into Maggots and Beckett's. I think the Merc has the better line here. No, They're side by side going into the hangar straight. Cook is a bit ahead, but we all know that America has a lot of grunt on the straight lines. Let's see if he can keep it ahead. It looks like he got a better exit going out of Magnus and Beckens, so therefore I think that, yeah, he's going to be ahead going into the Fleischmann is following that pack quite well as well. So let's see if he is able to get into the mix of things. Going up the field, Thornton Thomas is getting closer and closer to Marquez right now. It's probably going to be within striking distance. Maybe even next lap, maybe even this straight, depending on how Marquez's exit is. Going further up, Don Fox has gotten past Byrne. I sadly missed that, but so now he's starting to pull away. The next car for him is Mellon Pitch, although Mellon Pitch is currently running a faster race pace than Don Fox, so I think 6th is what he's going to be able to achieve before the pit stops. Pit window is now open. We'll probably see some damaged cars going in early and therefore maybe compromise. Oh, there's a spin! Thornton has gotten spun by Marquez. Thornton has gotten past and Marquez tapped Thornton's rear and Thornton went round. Marquez goes into the pits now after that. Interesting. Common Cold is there for right in the mix again. Next with Craig Bray. It's another 3-car pack going into cops here. Looks like Thornton Thomas had a slow entry going in, so Cold has had to compromise his line a bit. Going into Magnus and Beckett, it's Thomas, Common Cold, and Craig Bray. Bentley looking really compliant, as I said before. Let's see how the exit is. It's close. It's really close between Thornton Thomas and Common Cold going here. Also, Key is almost mixing into that battle again. It looks like the Ferrari has a bit more grunt. Good defending also by Thornton Thomas. Bray is just biding his time at this point. It's looking... Oh, there's another crash! There's another crash. Alexandre Alfonso and Kuno Jiang touched. Where Alexandre Alfonso came off worse. Small tap to the rear sent the car around spinning, but it doesn't look like he lost too much time. Going into Abbey now, looking at Common Cold, Thornton Thomas, and Bray again. Bad line from Thomas. Common Cold. I don't know about that. I do not like sending it up there. It's not really an overtaking spot. It looks good. Still looks fine. At the front of the pack, Warden is just pumping in fast lap times. Wright is quite a bit behind now. Warden was about a second faster last lap. I think although it might sound a bit anticlimactic, I think Warden has it in the bag. His race pace and consistency is on another level at this point. He's driving an excellent race. 10 out of 10 from start to finish. But at the same time, looks like Tommy Cogan is starting to get his pace up and is actually catching Wright by a few tenths a lap at this point. Looks like the Porsche's race pace is surprisingly good, although I thought the McLaren was going to be the faster car there. Mellon Pitch is probably in the loneliest race it's been in a while, but it's looking stable. As I said, Nissan is a stable car, and therefore the race pace should be nice for it. A easy car to drive. Want to go back to the Thornton and Common Cold battle, and Common Cold is once again quite close, going down the hangar straight. Let's see how... I don't think Cold is going to be close enough at this time. But Thornton... Oh no, the amount of turn in that Ferrari has. But both cars goes wide. That's probably track limit warnings for both cars. Going into the Vale chicane, to the F1 pit straight. Common Cold is close, but got a bit of oversteer in the middle part of the Vale chicane, and therefore it's probably not going to be able to contest Thornton Thomas over here. Let's see if something else is going down. Yeah, it's a battle between Kubilay and LeBron. LeBron going around the outside in the Vale chicane. Is he? Yes, he's gonna do it. Really, really good move there. Clean and everything. Looked really nice. Also, Wojcik is catching up to those cars now, so he's back up to 20th. Sadly, he went into the pits, and that's why he dropped back. But the issue there is he did pit before the pit window opened, so he has to come in again. That is a big issue. Adam Thompson's back to 29th, fighting with Josh Kimball. No, not really fighting with Josh Kimball, sorry. Fighting with Marquez, but I think Marquez is pitted, so I don't think that's Adam's race. I think it's other people that you should probably focus about. Alan Su is doing consistent 202s, which is a fine lap time. Also coming up to Dave Grills. And it's pretty close between them, but it's not going to be any fighting. Oh, there's a spin! There is a spin. The number 69 McLaren has gotten spun around. I'm not sure what happened. And also, Vorchek is coming up to Kubilay. Really close. Really, really close. Well, I think the Aston is probably the faster car on this track. We'll see what happens. Looks like the Merc still has the advantage going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex, but he gets a bad line. I think Vorchek is going to have it here. He's going to have a better exit going out of Maggots and Beckett's, and therefore, yeah, he's probably going to have him on the outside here. Yep, that is the case. Thornton Thomas is into the pits. An early pit stop. Oh, it's the battle still going on between Vorchek and Kubilay. But Vorchek gets that done. The Merc's frontline grunt made a big help on the straight there, but a superior line for Vorchek makes him keep the position. Cook is up to 14th now. I think he is, yeah, he's close to Alexandre Alfonso and Kuno Zhang. So he's been fighting back. Cookie being back into pro from being AM last season, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can fight with the faster guys. He's been pro before and he has the pace if he puts his mind to it, but can be a bit over ambitious from time to time. He's going into the second to last corner here, and he gets the move done. Good move.
We've seen passes happening there all day today, so I think that's going to be the corner to be watching if we've got close battles. And actually, just behind them, we have another one that might go the same way.
Yeah, Key is pitting, by the way. He's into the pits. So is Kimball. I don't see a lot of pit stops coming through, though.
Jeff Fleischman dives into the pits right there.
Oh, wait. Common Cold has gotten a big gap to Craig Bray now. Something must have happened for Bray, because that's a way bigger gap than when I checked last time. It's a good driving by Cold. The AM driver, I think, is he the leading AM driver now? I think so.
He is, yeah, for sure.
That's nice.
It's either him or Thornton, and I think Thornton was promoted to a pro license, right?
No, I think Thornton is still an AM, but he has had a off because he got spun around earlier.
That's right.
So he's almost lost now, but of course there's a lot of pit stops still gonna come in here. So I sadly don't know what the net positions are at this point, but it's looking really good for Common Cold. He's driving a perfect race, not really been into any big incidents, and just consistent. Yeah. Happy for him. He put in a lot of time into practice, so I'm kind of rooting for him here.
All right, well, we do have a battle for 11th unfolding. We got 3 cars involved right now. It's going to be another new name here. It's sitting in P11 of Kuno Yang, followed by Roadside Cookie and Andre Alexei Alfonso. Are going to be battling it out, coming around the Vale chicane there. And right now, it really is just a battle of who is able to get more speed leaving these corners. The Lamborghini and the Ferrari pretty similar in a straight line in my experience. So we'll see if Roadside Cookie's able to make something happen. Does look like he has a little bit of a jump on that Ferrari out in front. Is the draft going to be enough to where we see the same move happen again? He does have the inside line. And look at that, makes it happen like clockwork. 2 laps back to back, same pass, and it worked both times.
Yeah, I think I remember me and Cook have been having a lot of setup discussions on how to set up the Lamborghini, because it's a very, very tricky car to get right. My philosophy with the car is having a lot of wing and just try to have stability going through the corners. But Cook was very adamant that he wanted to... they almost get spun around by the sausage curve.
That got me nervous.
He wants to run a low wing setup and just bank on that the mechanical grip will get him through the high speed corners. But also his car is then very slippery on the straights. and I think it's helped him out now in his fight. But Common Cold is up to 8th. What happened to Pitch?
That's he pitched pit. That's the difference.
Okay.
Melon pitched his serve his
sorry.
mandatory pit, and Common Cold has not yet. In fact, the majority of the field has not yet. That's probably going to need to start changing here pretty soon.
Yep, 10 minutes left of the pit window, but as I said, you want to run as long as possible. Pit at the end of the pit window, if possible. That's always the fastest strat in the GT3 cars. Unless you're running into traffic, of course. And Wojcik is back up to 11th. It's just sad that he's done a banger of a lap. His best lap is a 58.9, which is a very respectable race time, especially in this temperatures.
Yeah.
Sad that he's gonna have to pit again because he pitted outside of the pit window. That's why he dropped back so far. I don't know why he pitted if he forgot to add fuel, so he was on quali fuel. But yeah.
Could be. Well, we also know he had that pretty significant front damage too that he had to go get figured out. Maybe getting that repaired was enough justification. Like I wonder if it's the balance between, do I stay out with a slower pace or is it faster for me just to pit twice? I don't know. I'm not a quick enough driver to be able to make those decisions, so I just drive until I've got 2 minutes left on the timer and then change my tires. But you never know.
We have
he
a
is
stop-go 30.
Quick.
We have a stop-go 30 for Grills. I think that's speeding in the pit lane.
Ooh, that is unfortunate. I know personally just how much of a pain in the ass that penalty is. That's what happened to me last race.
Yep.
Not a fun one to get. But that is going to be Wojciech into the pits there to serve his second pit stop. Let's look around the field, see if there's anything else exciting happening.
Yeah, Wojcik is back into the pits now, serving his mandatory pit stop within the pit window. Let's see when Don Fox comes out of the pits. He is behind Kubalay at this point. Slots in quite nice. I think there's a battle going on there.
Yeah, look at the hangar straight. We've got a little bit of madness going on there too.
Yeah, Melon Pitch and Mel is really close. And good job of Joshua Kimball to get out of the way there.
Yeah.
To not interrupt this battle. But here, I think this is where the Nissan is going to come into its own. If it just manages to be close in the slow section where the Ferrari is favored, the grunt of the Nissan on the straight line speed is going to do a lot. Because it's a missile on the straight, and we all know the JDM memes and so on, but it is true. The Nissan is the fastest car on the straights.
Yeah, at least of everything that's here. And we'll just, it really just comes down to being able to keep up with the how nimble that Ferrari is in some of the slower speed bends.
You see going through the slow speed corners, especially the Vale chicane, how much Melon Pitch dropped back. It's on the straights where I think Pitch is having the advantage, but sadly I don't think he's going to be able to catch up at this point. Gonna have to wait a bit.
He's got some work to do if he's going to.
Cook is going into the pits now behind Common Cold. I think Cook is having some damage that he'll have to repair. But it's close between Cold and Cookie. Also, Byrne is into the pits, serving his pit stop.
Yep, just got in for him. So that does mean right now Tommy Cogan's the only one in the top 3 to have served his pit stop. Daniel Wright and Andrew Warden still out on the field. But at this point, we are seeing a majority of folks have served their pit stops. As you can see over there on the left-hand side, some of them have the orange one, some of them have a green bar. Green bar already served your lap, or your pit. But right now, watching Tommy Cogan, I don't think, who's he closing up on? Don't recognize that car.
Daniel Wright.
That is right.
Okay.
No, that's not for position. It's another Porsche, the number 96 cars. That's Grills.
Yeah, he should probably just let Tommy by at this point because he has a 30-second stop go to serve and does not want to hold up lapping cars at this point. But for some reason it looks like he's defending, which I would say is not the right move to do at this point. Just let the leader by and serve your penalty instead.
Yeah, and he's going to stay out another lap. Really, that's an interesting decision considering I think he has one more lap. Or no, every time I see this start-finish line, I think it's the other one. Track has 2 of them, and I get it wrong every time.
Yep. Warden in the pits.
All right.
So the leader's now pitted.
Daniel Wright is the only one in the top 3 that still has to serve his pit stop. We see Alexandre Alfonso still has not served his in the BMW in 4th place currently. That'll change a little bit considering he's in between a whole bunch of folks who have already served theirs. But pretty soon here, once everybody's finished or figured out getting their pit stops done, we'll have a little bit better idea of what the standings actually look like. So I'm looking around for battles for position right now. I think we've got one right here for 9th place between another new name. Let's see here. Kubalay. Is that Kalon? Ceylon? I'm sorry I'm butchering your name. Please DM me later and tell me how wrong I got it. Between him and Ellen Zhu. And actually, it looks like there's now a McLaren in between the two of them. Where did Alan go? No, where did
he dropped back. He dropped back another position. I think he compromised his line pretty heavily going into the fast right or slow right-hander, and therefore Marquez got passed. But it's looking closer. I think, yeah, Marquez is probably going to have the run here because Kubalay got the wrong exit. But let's see the grunt of the Mercedes. Is it there?
It
is. Oh, it very much is there.
in style. Blowing past that McLaren like it's not even there. That German power is ridiculous. But now the battle for 9th has gotten more interesting now. Because we're now at the part of the track where that McLaren has the advantage coming through these mid-speed corners, and you can see, oh my God,
around the
AMG
outside,
wasn't even there on the outside.
Yep,
wow.
That's a good move.
That was just expertly negotiated there by Marquez in the McLaren, taking advantage of the strength of his car. But now we get to see if that McLaren. Oh, yep, I see that right in the pits now. So we'll see where he comes out. I don't know if he had enough time to gain that much of a gap to Andrew Warden. Is just now crossing the Sector 3 start line. So we'll see where Wright comes out of the pits. Is it going to be enough to where he comes out in front? I don't think it's going to be, but it is going to be close. Let's go ahead and hop over to Warden here. Coming around the final bend right now. Oh, we got a yellow flag, the number 27 car right behind him.
Oh, it's been a contact in the back of the field, I think. Looks like the Bentley, slow going. Bird person's Bentley is going slow, but it was another car involved, which I sadly didn't see who it was.
Okay. Well, Daniel Wright's still in the pits. Warden well past. We got a car stopped over on the outside of... Oh, and they're crossing across the track. Where is their car? I got to get this... right here. There we go. They're back. They're already going, of course, by the time I get over to the car. But on the map, that looked exciting. Let's see. Yeah, I saw them on the outside of turn 1 and come back across the track when another car was coming. So I can only imagine it was scary from that perspective, but...
I sadly can't see with my UI, but has Thornton Thomas pitted yet?
Yes, he has.
Then he has really good pace because he jumped common cold in the pit lane then.
Wow. Yeah, no, he definitely has. Right now, Alan Zhu in the pits, and he's going to pick up another position, move himself up into 11th.
Yeah. It's looking like a top 10 finish for Thomas at this point, because I think Kubalay hasn't pitted yet, and I'm fairly certain that Niall
has served his pit. So he's going to have to fight his way up to Niall, which, looking on the track, let's see, he's car number 21. He's got some work to do. I don't think it's impossible, but it is going to be a difficult challenge for him.
Yeah, Niall and Kubalay is getting into a battle here.
Yep, that's what we're watching right now on stream. Looks like Kubalay runs a little bit wide there, and that is going to allow the Porsche to get past him on the outside there, but the inside line, miss it. Oh, and he gets spun around pretty bad there. Goes Kubalay.
I'd say that, I think that's still on Kubalay though. He had too much entry speed. It was probably going to understeer quite wide going into there, and I don't think that Niall could have done a lot, honestly.
Yep, that'll be talked about in the reports later. That's for sure.
To bring out the popcorn, because the report channel is the most entertaining thing you could find on a Saturday evening.
It gets pretty spicy. It's always
fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. All in good spirit though.
Track for any other close battles here.
Tommy Cogan is closing in. on
Daniel
right.
Wright, yeah, he is. Now just shy of a 3-second gap, which was quite a bit larger than that before the pit stop. So got to feel good for Tommy Kogan now that he can see the car he's got to catch up to. Question is he going to be getting closer or farther away? And I see the yellow flag there, the number 999 car, it looks like.
Yep, he was turned the wrong way, and I think Wojcik got past Cookie as well right before that.
That is, yeah, that's what the standings say right now. So, yeah, Andre Alfonso having a little bit of a spin there. And it's going to allow Roadside Cookie to pick up a position, but Wojciech definitely gets the best there. But now he is battling it out with D's Grills out in front. And this is not for position again. This is, he's going to be getting the blue flag waved at him right now.
He should just let them by. They're battling.
Yeah, because everybody's losing time when you're battling. So it's definitely don't want to be the blue flag car causing that to happen.
Yeah, I fully understand Wojciech here.
The flashers there, and he's going to push around the outside. Grills really needs to lift here.
Is he lifting? He is.
Only barely though.
Very sketchy, very sketchy. Thornton Thomas up to 10th. What happened? Must have missed something. Perhaps someone pitted in the top 10. But Thornton is up to 10th now.
Yeah, and Hilan at Mercedes did not serve the mandatory pit in time, so that is going to be a time penalty tacked onto the end of the race.
Yep, I think that is 180 seconds.
Oh my God.
It's going to be. If I remember correctly, he is flashing his lights for some reason.
Probably because he might have the stream up and know that he was on camera. Oh wait, no, that was Kaelan.
Yeah. Kublai.
Yes.
It's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps he figured out that he missed the pit window and is mad at himself. I'd be, because I missed the pit window in a race where it was a 5-minute pit window and I got caught out by it. I was not happy with myself then. Yeah.
All right,
Let's
so
see here.
That is going to be a top 10 finish for Thomas, at least finishing in 9th place after that penalty is figured out with the post time there. But the number 15 car looks like they're right on top of somebody. Let's see if I can't get my camera up there. Yeah, so it is going to be Alessio Meliz and who was that? Oh, he's passing lapped traffic. Never mind.
Yeah, we're at that stage of the race, and you see also that he's pulled away from Alan Pitch.
Yep, by quite
I think
a
the
bit.
Ferrari's arrow is just too dominant at this point for the Nissan to do much. But at the same time, a lot can happen. Commentator's curse is very much a thing, so
100%.
you can see crashes. Good job by Cody to get out of the way there. Let's see if I can find anything else going on.
I'm looking around.
Yeah, Wright is coming up to Sue, which is a lapped car. Kogan is, I think, has closed the gap a bit. Sue should just get out. Oh yeah, he's getting out.
Yeah, broke early, stayed on the outside. Correct decision.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Warden is just, he is just in a league of his own at this. Yeah, he just did the fastest lap of the race, 58.09. Which is only like, was 2 tenths slower than his quali time, so that just shows that he didn't get the optimal amount of the quali.
Even still, though, the consistency is absurd. Although, to be fair, he also has a lighter fuel load now going into this part of the race with relatively fresh tires. So,
yeah,
that is going to be probably the fastest lap of the race for the rest of the race. But I am looking around the field to try and find anybody who's battling for position right now. And I think we're just kind of at the part where the field is mixed up. Let's go ahead and take a look at Thornton. He's got some action going on. And actually, no, we do have a battle for position developing behind Thornton here. Looks like they both got around Couplé. And that is going to be Thornton Thomas in the Ferrari out in front with Liang Qi behind in the another Porsche on this field. Thomas is going to have a pretty good corner there. Gets just right on the outside there. See how he manages to handle the last corner, and then we're going to see a bit of a drag race between these two if the Porsche is able to get close enough. And it does not look like they're going to be close enough to be getting a huge draft advantage, so this might wear on past.
Kubala goes into the pits here.
Okay.
Sadly, it's 4 minutes too late, so it's not going to count for the mandatory pit stop. Key and Thomas are fighting it out, going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex again. I think the Ferrari is probably the superior car here, just because of the rear end stability that the car has. But it's all about the exit. If you don't get the exit right, the car behind always has a chance. But it looks good.
Yeah, it looked like a good exit. Really using all the track there to make sure that he's getting as much time on the throttle as he can. And that does show by the end of the hangar straight. Does have a pretty sizable gap to that Porsche behind. Now we'll see if the Porsche is able to keep up in these lower speed corners where it has the better rotation. Ooh, and Thornton running a little bit wide there, depending on how many penalties he's had.
We have had a spin also. Kuno Jiang has gone wide. I don't know if he was involved in anything, but he was spun around at the runoff in turn 1.
Probably just overcooked it going through there. Let's see, the number 9 car. They're driving the Ferrari, and yeah, depending on if you... It's really stable until it decides not to be anymore, is my experience with that car.
Yeah.
And it really will snap on you.
Yeah, not seeing what happened, I honestly think that it probably hit the sausage curb on the inside and around the rear end of the car goes. So, sounds reasonable.
Yeah, we've seen it happen here. But the battle between Thornton Thomas and Key behind rages on. Neither one of them really just gaining a distinct advantage on the other, but we can see Common Cold and Craig Bray in the background of that camera shot there starting to reel them in. We may have a little bit more complicated of a battle for 9th place here if those two are able to close the gap. We've got a lot of traffic over coming in Maggots and Beckett's at the exit there over by Chapel. Let's take a look over there. We just got cars all over. They're all stacked on top of each other right now. We are watching, so this is that Ferrari chasing down that Mercedes out in front. And it's not going to be for position again because the Mercedes does have that time penalty they're going to accrue at the end of the race. But right behind them, let's see, that's the McLaren of Daniel Wright, it looks like. Or no, that's another McLaren. There's a whole lot going on right now, folks. No, but that is okay. So there's a McLaren wedged in between H-on Sam and Cody Barrett. So that McLaren's going to be wanting to get around because they're going to be faster than the other two.
Common Cold is catching. Do this fastest lap of the race last lap.
Go ahead and take a look at that. It does look like a 3-car battle right now for 9th place.
Cold was over a second faster than the cars they had last lap, so he is reeling them in. The Bentley coming into its own in the late stages of the race. Tire wear and fuel consumption is amazing on that car, so it does not surprise me one bit.
"13 minutes left here at Silverstone. We've had nothing but exciting racing this entire time from start to finish on the entire grid, if we're being honest here. Right now, it does look like it's going to be Andrew Warden's race with an 11-second lead to 2nd place, but the battle for 2nd might get interesting here because Tommy Kogan is only 2.5 seconds behind Daniel Wright, who's currently trying to get around some slower traffic. The number 99 McLaren there is going to want to get out of the way. That's not a battle you want to be in between. But we've had very exciting top 10 too. Lots of movement going on here. And we see some amateur drivers really working their way up the ranks here. 12 minutes left, just enough time for anything exciting to happen, really. All it takes is one spin for more upsets to happen, but I'm thinking we're looking at what our finishing grid might look like here.
It's really close now between Key and Cold. Really close.
Oh my god, yeah, it is.
Really, really close. I honestly think that Cold might get this quite soon because he has had a distinct pace advantage over the last 2 laps. The problem with the Porsche is that it wears out its rear tires quite hard because of all of the weight on it. We'll see what happens here.
You can tell Common Cold getting a little bit impatient. You can see on the straights he's checking each side of the car, just looking for a way to get around him.
Yeah, he gets a good exit there on Maggots and Beckett's. Perhaps a bit slow on the second to last corner on Maggots, so I don't think he's going to have it down here. But it really looks like Cold has a pace advantage going into the high-speed corners, although the Bentley is cumbersome. But this also gives time for Thornton Thomas to run away.
Which he definitely needs, because it does look like the Bentley has quite a lot of pace after that lap we saw just a second ago. I mean, even the previous lap, still over a second faster than the car he's chasing down. So it really is just a matter of time until he has lined up the pass here. We'll see where he makes it happen. but he's only got 11 minutes to do it, so he's got to really start thinking and start taking some chances if he wants to secure a top 10 finish here.
I'd say just be cautious and get good exits onto the straights where there's an overtaking opportunity at the end of them. Like here, he's got a good run here. He's got a really good run here.
Oh, he's got a great run here.
Yep, he did exactly what I said that he needed. Took the wide line going out to the slow speed, and then.
Ooh, but that Porsche might have to cut back, but he's able to hang on to it on the inside there. Porsche not able to get around, and that is going to be a successful pass for Common Cold to move himself up into 10th
really
place.
Good. Really nice car placement there. And the Porsche gets on the sand. He's going to lose 10 kph on the straight there. I think Cold has locked down that position quite handily now.
Absolutely, and that was textbook from start to finish. Chose when he wanted to pass, knew where the car had the advantage, and made it happen. And we've seen it happen all day here. At that same corner is just perfect if you can get it right. And these drivers showing some excellent racecraft here, taking advantage of it every opportunity that they get.
I'm actually a bit surprised that people haven't been defending the inside at all there, because
I would be.
It doesn't really look. Yeah, I would be parking it on the apex every time. But whatever floats their boat, I guess. No pun towards the Bentley, of course. But
so
now let's see if Common Cold can
cinch up Thomas.
Can catch up I think that is the most interesting battle that's going on right now for like good point scoring positions, because everything else looks pretty spread out.
Yeah, the next closest one, I mean, it's Key and Common Cold, but that's just because we haven't separated. Ooh, Thornton Thomas gets a little bit loose there on the rears coming around the corner. He's going to lose a little bit of speed there. We'll see if that's enough for Common Cold to cinch him up. And look at all those cars lined up on the old start-finish line. Gotta love when Assetto Corsa gives us those beautiful shots. Does not look like getting loose on the back end has even scared Thomas a little bit, as you can see, really throwing it around the chicane there. I think he knows he's got a Bentley that's eager to take that position away from him, so he's just got to drive as hard as he can. And with 8 minutes left, tire management, not that much of a concern at this point. Most of these cars will only have another 4 laps here, maybe 5, depending on where Worden finishes. But
I would just throw everything about tire management and fuel management out of the window here. If you haven't fueled up for a 1 hour race, you're in the pit strategy. Just go for it now, especially when it's a mandatory tire change in the middle of the race. There's no point of preserving tires at this point. Just go for it. If you have more pace, use it.
Let's see, and let's see, what were their last laps like? They were nearly identical, but Common Cold 4/10 quicker than Thornton out in front. So we might just see something crazy happen here by the end of the race. So 4/10, there is 1.1 seconds between them. That means in 3 laps, Common Cold is going to be right on the rear bumper of that Ferrari, and we might have an interesting race for 9th place here at the final stages of Silverstone.
Yeah, looks like Thornton also got a bad exit out of Magus and Beckett's because the car bottomed out of the exit curb. So I think Cold is just gonna gain more time here on the straight. But also the Ferrari's initial turn in and just how stable it is for the high-speed corners. It's a very impressive thing to look at.
Does run a little wide there, though. Maybe it was a no-time gain, but that, if he's got track penalties he's worried about, that certainly didn't help him. But I don't think he's too worried about it, because he's really pushing the track limits there, too, to really get as much speed out of that Ferrari as he can, because I'm sure he's aware that Bentley is getting bigger in the rearview mirror right now.
And it's already a really intimidating car, and you don't want that car to be right up on your rear grille at this point. I mean, it really looks like the Bentley has really good late race pace at this point.
Ooh, kisses a little bit of the inside sausage curve. That's going to slow down the Ferrari, and the Bentley is going to try and take advantage of that. I'm sure they saw that. Not quite close enough to make something happen on this lap, but that gap is going to be getting smaller now. What was a 1.1 second?
Really close behind.
Really close behind.
Is probably gonna.
Oh my!
Wojcik is probably gonna. Oh, it's a three away going into. Oh, he gets
Oh,
two
the Aston
cars
Martin
at
makes the
once.
pass happen. We'll see if he's able to hang on to it because those two Porsches are going to be able to
Goes
rotate
wide.
a little bit better. Oh, it's going to be close between those two. There's going to be a little bit of contact there. The back end of the other Porsche. Oh, and they tap him again to throw him off the track. That is going to be Craig Bray out in the gravel right now.
But now Roadside Cook is going to try to go around the outside on Lee King. Oh, but he gets shit. No, that's bad by King. You need to leave a car with.
Yeah, that is fortunately not catastrophic for either one of them. Lee and Kay is going to give the position up, it looks like, which is the right thing to do there. Roadside Cookie is going to get the pass going around Maggots and Beckett's. But we need to get back over to Thornton Thomas and Common Cold.
Yeah, because it's closer.
Because
it's much closer at this point.
Just to give you oh, look at they're playing around on the straight, trying to break the toe. Common Cold looking up the outside. I don't think he's going to be able to pull off the late break. No, he's going to flip on the inside for the old switcheroo, but it is not going to be happen. It doesn't happen soon enough to try and make something happen. And just so you folks can appreciate what what Thomas is looking like, or looking at in the rear, here is the rear-facing camera of that Ferrari, and you can see that Bentley is just all over him right now. And that is only going to get closer.
Cole did the smart thing, taking a wide line going in to open up the corner. He might have a lot of more entry speed, or straight line speed going into it. I don't think it's an overtaking position going into Abbey. But if he just keeps close, maybe he'll get him. Oh, Fleischmann's got in the try-through, probably track limits. That's sad.
And the only Audi on the field is going to serve a drive-through. That is too bad.
He's the only Audi. Jesus, Audi is such a good car. Oh no, Cole touched the inside curb. I think the Ferrari's gonna get away from him on the straight here.
We'll see.
Oh, but at the same time, you can see that Aston has really good pace. Oh, no.
With the late brakes, the Bentley's going to try and gain some of that time back, and he does pretty effectively if he can stick it. We saw the back end get a little bit loose there, but around the last corner, he's right on the rear bumper of that Ferrari, and they come down. He's got the inside line. Let's see if he's able to get the power down in time. And we know that Ferrari is quick off the line. The Bentley not able to get as much power down, but he is going to be close enough to where we might see something happen here in Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, and also look at the Aston behind, catching it fast. Wojcik has really good pace.
Ooh, yeah, Wojcik definitely has the pace, but I think the tires are starting to fall off for that Ferrari. We can see he's really having to slow down to get around some of these slower speed corners where he would normally be relying on downforce from the Ferrari, but I think that the mechanical grip is just falling off. That Bentley we know is great on tires, and I think right now Common Cold is just in the perfect position to try and capitalize that. But look at how quickly that Aston Martin has closed up on Common Cold.
And also Roadside Cook is into the mix now all of a sudden. Jesus Christ.
Aston Martin, he's got the speed on the outside there. Let's see if he's able to cut back and hang on to it. He's going to be able to wedge himself out in front of Common Cold there, and that is going to be a position gain for Wojcik.
Really good move
there, because that is going to force him to back off of the Ferrari out in front. Now he's got two cars to worry about.
Yeah, very good move. Very good move by Wojcik there.
And Wojcik has served two pits, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he has really good pace.
So
it's going to be interesting to see what he can do later in this championship.
Oh my goodness! And we've got a car spin around. The Ferrari loses it going around. That's going to be Thornton. The tires finally let go in one of those mid-speed corners, and that is going to be his top 10 dreams dashed as he tries to get that Ferrari back on the track. And an unfortunate end to his race with just 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. So now it's just looking, I think, honestly, unless something unexpected happened, I think this might be the finishing order, at least for the top 10.
I wouldn't count Common Cold out, though. He is hanging on to Wojcik there in that Aston Martin. And we're going to see the battle of two very different cars, but I think Wojcik might just have the pace to be able to stay out in front of it. We'll see if Cold is able to get creative and make something happen here. He is staying close enough to where he'll have the draft advantage on the straights. And I'm not sure if either one of them really has a top speed finish. Yellow flag right out in front of them, and we just missed it on the cameras, but there's a car sideways in the middle of the track there. Fortunately, all three of our faster cars there able to get past it without any incident. And it looks like it was the was that the Porsche of Alan Zhu, I think.
On the final lap now.
Oh, and there we go. It comes out on the radio. Leader is on the final lap. That means that anybody who is out in front of that has 2 laps remaining to serve here. So I think Common Cold, you do have the time to make this pass happen for 9th place. But also, he's got Roadside Cookie right behind him.
Yep.
All within a second of each other, too.
So now Common Cold has a dilemma. Either he pushes and try to go for the overtake, or he just plays it safe, just manage his lines, take the P1 in the AM standings and P10 in the overall standings, which is still a great result for him. But honestly, I'd try to push. I'd try to push it because although the Aston also is a really good late stint car, because that car's tire wear is also very strong, there's something about the Bentley and just how compliant it is. And
we can see
just
that
one
Aston
mistake
runs a little bit wide there, and just immediately Common Cold capitalizes on that and gets right back on the rear bumper of that Aston Martin. And actually gains quite the bit of a gap to Roadside Cookie, so now he really can just focus on pushing. And we see he's in position. The Aston Martin knows this pass has happened like 20 times today already, and he's keeping his car right on the inside. He's going to defend that inside line, but the Bentley's going to make the move on the outside with the extra speed he's able to carry through.
Yeah, cuts back, Cookie goes a bit deep.
Aston doing an excellent job of defending.
Yeah.
He's making that thing 3 cars wide, and it is working for him because what has been a successful overtake for that Bentley several times today already, the Aston is going to defend successfully. Both of them really on the inside of that right there. That's going to be a track limits penalty for sure.
It is very close. It is very close going into the final lap of the race here.
But yeah, this is going to be the last lap for both of these drivers. There are no other races for position that are really heating up that I can see, so we are going to stick with them, and we're going to let Warden finish the race on his own right now. He's going to cross start-finish line right there. Oh my goodness, the Bentley way misses the corner there and is off in the runoff. He's going to be trying to get it back over on the track. Roadside Cookie gets around him safely. Looks like he's able to safely rejoin the track, but unfortunately that mistake is going to cost him 10th place. Roadside Cookie moving up into it. And now Common Cold, is he fending off? Yeah, well, I wouldn't say fending off. I mean, the car behind him is for position, but he should be able to hang on to that long enough to finish the race.
Yeah. So, but now Cookie is getting closer to Wojciech. See what happens here.
He's got half the track left to try and make something happen here, folks. Just so you know, our top 4 have finished. It is going to be Andrew Warden in first place, Daniel Wright in second, Tommy Kogan in third, and A. Melise in fourth. Melon Pitch just crosses the start-finish line in fifth place. M. Byrne in the McLaren, and Don Fox should be here pretty soon, crossing that start-finish line. He's got a couple of corners to go, but we're watching this battle unfold out in front of us. That is the Lexus of Joshua Kimball out in front there, so that is not going to be for position. But that might be a godsend for Roadside Cookie if he slows him down just enough to where he can maybe make an overtake happen here in the last couple of corners here. I don't think so. Cookie is far enough back to where I don't think he's going to be able to make something happen. But at the last minute, does manage to make his way up into the top 10. Common Cold loses it in Maggots and Beckett's there. Aston Martin makes a move on the outside there. And I think that is going to be the race for M. Wojciech in 9th place, and I gotta say it again, we know this car has pit more than once and still manages to cinch up a top 10 finish. Outstanding driving from Wojciech. Roadside Cookie coming in top 10, definitely hard fought for. He's been all over the leaderboard today, and then Common Cold comes across start-finish line to get a well-earned 11th place and does finish first for our AMs, if I am correct.
Yeah, that should be the case. But now with the race over, who would you say is the driver of the day then?
I don't know. I kind of have to hand it to Wojciech, but I don't know if that's... He made the decision to pit early with damage and still made his way up. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know. There was excellent driving from everybody. Roadside Cookie among them, Common Cold for sure, and then Thornton up until the very last second. Excellent driving the entire way. We actually got to see some crazy overtakes from him.
Yes, Wojciech in chat said that it started with quality fuel. Basically, what I expected happened. So that probably threw away P3 because the pace was there. It looked really good.
All right, and here are our final standings here for the first race of this season here. Andrew Warden in first, Daniel Wright in second, Tommy Kogan in third. We'll probably be seeing those three fighting it out for the top 3 a whole lot this season. But to round out our top 10, we've got A. Melise in the Ferrari, Melon Pitch in the Nissan, M. Byrne in a McLaren, Don Fox in 7th in another McLaren, Niall Drake in the Porsche, M. Wojciech in the Aston Martin, and Roadside Cookie finishing out our top 10 in the Lamborghini. That is our first race at Silverstone. Any final thoughts that you've got for the kind folks at home?
Nothing besides that. I'm already looking forward to the next round, which I think is going to be Misano. And that track is notorious for its track limits.
Yeah,
So it's going to be interesting to see how people handle that.
You either are abusing the track limits or you're getting past. It's going to be an interesting race, that is for sure. But that is going to be it from us today, folks. For those of you who joined us for the whole race, thank you so much. Anybody who joined in and you want to see more of this this season, every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be live here with you. And there's racing almost every day of the week. So if you like watching sim racing, go ahead and hit us with the follow so you'll get those notifications when we're racing. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you again, everybody, from everybody at Apollo Racing Club, and we will see